Hello.
Hi, hello.
Hey, Teacher Wendy. Thank you so much for joining us and doing this and sharing your expertise with
Well,
ManyCam.
thanks for having me. I'm excited. I could talk about this kind of stuff all day. Any online teaching, Manicam, any of this nerdy stuff, I'll talk your ear off. So
Perfect. There are so many people that want to start using ManyCam or Google Slides, and they just don't know how to even
yeah,
get started. So I am excited to have you here to help us figure this out.
well, I will do my best. I was just telling you that I am one of those self-taught, kind of nerdy, kind of techie, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. So don't be afraid of it. It took me a little while, probably a little longer than most, but I use it for what I need it to do for me. So I might not do all the bells and whistles
Mhm.
that come along with it, and it definitely can be overwhelming, but it gets the job done and it does exactly what I need it to do. And I can't imagine doing this gig without it. So I'm happy to
Perfect.
talk about it.
Good, good. Okay, so before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yep, I have been teaching online for a little over a year. I've been teaching for 16 years. I'm
Wow.
home right now with my 1.5-year-old little girl,
Oh.
and I have an almost 9-year-old little boy as well. So I'm juggling a little bit of that and going back to school in the fall to take a position as library science media specialist position. So I'm excited about that as well.
So when did you start using ManyCam?
I would say it was about 2 months in when I started a little over a year ago online. I I just got really quickly overwhelmed with the flashcards and the props and all the Facebook groups, and I can print this and screenshot that, and it was a lot. I mean, it was all really cute and I loved it all and I wanted it all. And I think that was part of my problem was I was like, okay, I need instant ink. I need a printer. I'm printing everything. I'm laminating and I'm cutting, and it just got crazy. So about 2 months in, I was like, okay, I need things to be able to be digital. I need to be able to show the kids on an iPad. And I didn't even really like holding up a phone or an iPad because I still felt fumbly. I didn't like having to hold things in my hands. So it was a couple months in, and I was already trying to jump in and teach myself how to do it. So
Okay, so how did you learn the basics of ManyCam and Google Slides?
well, you hit Google and you just start researching, and the Facebook groups we have. I can't imagine doing this job without all of you out there, helping me and answering my questions. So I started going to some of the Facebook groups and just typing my questions in the search bar, like, okay, I have ManyCam. Tell me how to set it up. Tell me what the settings are. Tell me if actually I tried originally to do it on my little it's not a Chromebook but like a little tablet, and it just wasn't fast enough. So I started just researching, okay, if I need a computer, if I buy a computer, what specs do I need? That was
Mm,
kind of where I started,
mm,
and searching through some of the digital groups and just trying to figure out exactly what the basic requirements were before I got into getting anything beyond the free version of ManyCam.
mm,
And once I was able to kind of align what I needed my computer to be at as far as memory, I did need to upgrade the hard drive, and
mm,
got all that down.
mm.
Then I got into watching YouTube. Okay, now that I've got it set up on my computer, I did wind up paying for the paid version almost right away because I wanted um, all the things that come with it, or some of the things that come with the paid version. And then I got into Teacher Ellie was my like go-to girl on YouTube. She is a genius and very clear in the way that she was able to explain it to me. And I just watched her YouTube videos, the real basic ones at the beginning, and I would just sit with a notebook and hit pause and write it down and hit pause and write it down, so that when I went and sat at my computer, I was able to go through step by step, like she was sitting right next to me, and get it all, you know, set up exactly the way that I needed it to be, so that before I even tried to use it in the classroom, I was able to kind of practice on my own. So there's a lot of great YouTube videos out there once you get the specs and all the actual setup stuff
Mhm.
the way that you need it to be. So
Yes, and I agree. I've used her videos too to help, and she's
yeah,
amazing the way she
she's
walks
great.
you through it. She's
Yes, yes.
so what do you use it for most of the time in the class?
Um, I I originally started using it with all the bells and whistles, and you can make your own rewards with their like clip art and all of their graphics and animation that comes from ManyCam. And I did a little bit of that, and then Google Slides really started to kind of take over the online world of education. And so I kind of jumped right into that and taught myself how to make a little Google slideshow, and right away kind of transitioned into the little picture in picture. And that's primarily what I do with it. Is I'll have my screen with just a little picture in picture, and I will toggle back and forth between the kiddos seeing my face and then making the game or the lesson slide big. And I just kind of bop back and forth between my reward and the lesson props as well. And I'll usually have two different Google slideshows going at the same time. And I just kind of toggle back and forth between those two tabs. And then I also have been using the drawing tab on ManyCam as well very often. And it's kind of like the whiteboard, but it comes with colors and colored pens, and it's a little bit quicker. It loads a little quicker than trying to do it through the classroom platform. So I toggle to that as a tab really quick, or as a preset window really quick, and just type like, say we're learning about apples, and I type apple, or it is an apple, and then you can underline each part of the sentence and really focus on each of the vocab words.
Oh.
I also have another little preset where I type like their name, like I'll say Dawn, and then every time they get a star, I kind of flip to that preset window real quick and just draw a star really quick. I mean, it's easy. It's easy stuff. You just have kind of a few different windows going at the same time. So I would say Google Slides, lesson props, rewards, and then that drawing tab with the type
Perfect.
tool. Those are probably like my top three that I use it for.
You know, I've been using ManyCam for just a little less than 2 years, and
Mhm.
I didn't know there was that drawing screen. I've never used it.
Oh, I didn't at first either, and that's what I mean. And I watched a YouTube training or something, and somebody mentioned how they always they just have the chat part of the drawing tab across the bottom of like their face, and so they'll type their sentences that way, like it is an apple, and you can see the words just pop right across, similar to the text tool that they now have in the new interactive classroom for GoGo. It's very similar to that, but it's nice because it just brings the kids back, anything like that, to bring their focus back in instead of just staring at me all the time. You know, all of a sudden there's a star flying around my head, or some words going across my chin, or whatever.
So, have you ever had any feedback from a student or a parent that is related to you using Google Slides in the classroom?
Yeah. I get tons of feedback all the time about parents loving the fact that I'm able to real quick pull up, like all the time I'll sit down with some of my regulars and I'll say, what reward do you want today? And they'll say Hello Kitty or Lego or Spider-Man or whatever. And I'm able to go into that lesson bank and type Spider-Man really quick and pull it up on the fly based on what they request that day.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll give it to me in feedback as well. So I'm able to really customize the rewards based on their interests. And find even some of those that are already made that go right with the lesson. So the parents love that. They love that it's really, the reward is really geared towards their individual child rather than just kind of teaching to the masses. And I'm able to kind of customize it and make my own. There was one a little story. There was one little girl last week that was typing furiously in her translator, trying to get me to understand what this movie was that she went to the other day. And it was a character called Conan the Detective that I don't think have here in the States. And I had no idea what she was talking about. So I was able to go into the lesson bank and find a star that was already made for Conan the Detective. And I think it's actually a Japanese cartoon. And I pulled that up, and I heard Mom in the background and the kid, they were like, that's Conan! You know, they just like lost their mind that I was able to find that and play that game with them. So the fact that I'm able to customize it based on what they actually request
Yes.
rather than just, okay, we're going to do, another generic monkey and banana, that they've
Yeah.
seen a zillion times. So I get all kinds of positive feedback, just based on that kind of factor, I guess.
Yeah, that's so
So
cool.
it's
That is
good. Yeah.
awesome. So Wendy, if someone, a friend of yours who's a teacher came to you and said, okay, I really want to use this, but I am just overwhelmed. I have no idea what to do and how to get started. What would you
Yep.
suggest?
I would suggest downloading just the free version.
Okay.
And actually, the ManyCam website has a really helpful help section.
Mm.
Go there, and it's really not as overwhelming as you would think it would be. They have a ton of really informative and clear question and answer topics in their help section.
Mhm.
And then hit up YouTube. Start with Teacher Ellie. She's like my number one recommendation, I would say. She's very clear. She's very soft-spoken and calm in the way that she just takes you through it step by step. Start with that free version, give it a try, and just use it with like a couple of little animations in your first class, and then get into, maybe every week kind of try to teach yourself another little aspect. Okay, I'm going to try the drawing tool, or I'm going to try the text box, or I'm going to try, and you just kind of slowly learn it. Don't think that you need to jump all in and learn it in like a weekend, because your brain's going to explode. And message me. I'm definitely able to help you. Definitely willing to take questions or messenger
Okay.
on Facebook or whatever. I will help you as much as I possibly can.
Very cool. So I will
Those
put
are
your
cool.
contact information in
Yeah.
in the comments so people can
Sure.
bother you all the
Sure.
time and
Yep.
ask you a million
I will
questions.
do the very best I can, and I will, if I don't know, I will Google it before I text you back.
Perfect. So you shared a clip with us that we are going to watch that I'm so excited to see. Can you
Okay.
explain a little bit about what we will see in this clip?
Yeah. Yep. So I was using rewards and lesson prop in this video. I had the presets across the bottom that I have quite a bit going, so don't feel like it's overwhelming, that you have to have all of those. But and it's interesting because you can see my whole desktop, and you'll see that I do it with layered windows. So I have ManyCam and then my classroom kind of forward and backward.
Okay.
You don't have to have an external monitor to do this. I just kind of layer my windows, and then you'll be able to see the custom area in the bottom corner where I share a part of my desktop. So I use the screen share feature. And then I'll kind of show you the drawing tool and a little bit of effects in the clip art at the end. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'm
right.
really interested in seeing that drawing tool.
Yeah.
Let's start using that. Thanks so much for doing this, and I appreciate all your tips, and I will make sure to put your contact information below so people can contact you with any questions, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks,
Wendy.
Dawn. All right. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I do have the paid version of ManyCam. So I have these presets across the bottom here where I can have different windows set up and ready to go, and things resized so that I can just toggle across the bottom in my classes and show the student different things. So my student would only see this window in the classroom. But for this class, I would have a Find a Star up that I can toggle over to in my preset window with my custom area screen sharing portion of my desktop. I can have Find a Star up, and then I can click over and go to my Google Slideshow as well to kind of pop back and forth between Google Slides and or the Google Slide Find a Star game and the Google Slide like lesson prop slideshow. Wanted to give a shout out real quick to Alyssa Burns and Kelly Peterson. I found your Google Slides on our drive really quick, and I wanted to just give you a shout out because I grabbed those to use in my demonstration today. While I'm at it, I wanted to show you that this is the drawing tab of ManyCam that I use almost as often as I use the Google Slides. You can type over here in the chat box. you can draw right on here with many different colors. The student isn't able to draw along with you, so it's not quite as nice as the whiteboard, but it's a nice quick option that loads a little bit more quickly than the whiteboard part. Sometimes if the student is winning stars as we go, I will kind of just type their name, and then in addition to find a star, whatever, I will draw them a different color, and they just kind of like to see their name in lights, so that's a fun little option that I use as well. I wanted to show you how I set up this like picture-in-picture part. So what you do is you find, let me get rid of this, you find a blank, you find a blank, one of these gray boxes across the bottom, and you can click on it and you can select either your webcam or your desktop, and then you would go to custom area, and that's when you toggle to that window and you'll get this dotted box that you can drag around your desktop, and that's how I resize. I usually make my Google Slides pretty small on the side over here so they don't take up a whole lot of my screen. You can resize and show any portion of the screen that you want them to see. So that's how I make my custom area, or you can just kind of toggle back. I have a ridiculous amount of windows right now because I was practicing for today's video to show you a few different things, but that's how I kind of make my custom area. Those are basically the main components of ManyCam that I personally use. I do get into a few of the effects on the effects tab, but not a whole ton. This is where you can download from the website or use some of the default ManyCam effects to just kind of click on and click off real quick. So those are fun. They're little face masks and things that you can do as well, and you can save your favorites. I use this for trials at the end. Yay, you got 5! And the kids go bananas. So there's quite a few of really fun effects that you can use as well. I find that maybe throwing in 1 or 2 of those in addition to the Google Slides that give you a nice reinforcement to the lesson skills is kind of the perfect mix for me. So that's basically the gist of how I use ManyCam. Good luck. Have fun. Thanks. Bye.